Hey geeks, I'm Trey Guillotine and you're watching Geekly Trends, where I give a few blurbs about some of the trends that have gone on this week. This week I'm talking about some of the heroes in Avengers Infinity War and more. I generally try to keep my political talk away from my geek talk, but whenever the two combine, it's like Christmas for me because I get to talk about the two things that I'm really passionate about. Recently, a Democratic Congressman, David Cicilline from Rhode Island, made a comparison between Stranger Things and our current political situation, and he compared what we're living in now, the political situation that we're living in now under this Trump administration, is compared to the upside down. Up is down, down is up, black is white, good is bad. He made a lot of different comparisons for it, and he wanted to remind us that Sheriff Hooper, or Chief Hooper, will not be coming to punch anyone in the face to save us from the upside down, which is kind of a scary thought, and I really don't disagree with him on this comparison. The Demogorgon is definitely, physically it looks a lot like Trump. I can definitely see the similarities, especially in its very tiny hands when it reaches out for Winona Ryder from the wall. The hands are very tiny. But in all seriousness, yeah, every morning waking up and looking at the news has been kind of like waking up in the upside down and just growing more and more afraid. And that's definitely not a good thing. The comparison to Stranger Things, as great of a show as it is, doesn't bode well for us. And that's the scariest thing of all. And it's funny because he says, he reminds us that, Stranger Things is TV, but what we're seeing is real life. And I still sometimes have a hard time believing that what I'm seeing in the news and what I'm seeing that's happening all over the country is actually happening in 2017 in this real world. It's kind of astounding and heartbreaking. Just in case you got your hopes up for Hellboy 3, Guillermo del Toro came out with a tweet that wanted to assure you that this movie is not happening. Hellboy 3, sorry to report, spoke with all parties, must report that 100% the sequel will not happen, and that is to be the final thing about it. There's been there's always rumors of it happening, talking to Ron Perlman or talking to Guillermo del Toro, always talking about the possibility of a Hellboy 3, which would be awesome because Hellboy 2 was a fantastic movie. I actually haven't watched that movie in a while. I might watch that again soon. Hellboy 2 was a great science fiction fantasy. It is based on a comic book, right? Again, I'm not a comics person. I don't read. I haven't read many of the comics, but the movie that came out from it was fantastic, and I would love to see another Hellboy. But it's been, God, I don't even know how many years since Hellboy 2 came out. Let me find out. Hellboy 2 and the Golden Army. This came out 2008. So this came out in my graduation year. So it's been almost 10 years since this movie came out. Which is definitely, not impossible for a movie series to have big gaps of time between their installments for another sequel to come out. But it looks like this is the final word on it. There will be no Hellboy 3, and that is kind of disappointing. Ron Perlman as Hellboy was just a fantastic and fun character, and honestly, anytime Ron Perlman's on the screen, it's just fun to watch him, because he genuinely seems to have fun and really put himself in his role, and it's a fun role, it's a fun movie, and it's a fun performance that he gives, and Hellboy 2 was great, and I would love to see a Hellboy 3, but at the same time, it's one of those things that I've kind of just lost any hope on. Probably, in my opinion, the best news that I've heard this week is that Cards Against Humanity is teaming up with BioWare to come out with a Mass Effect expansion pack to add into your Cards Against Humanity deck, which I'm so excited for. The Mass Effect pack is a collaboration between Cards Against Humanity and BioWare. 14 brand new cards about valuable intellectual property, Mass Effect. We thought if we wrote a pack with BioWare, they would let us play the new Mass Effect game early. That did not happen, but here we are anyway. Claim your limited edition pack for $1, including US shipping, now. Our brand synergy is out of this world. Missing cards to be sold later as DLC. And I already have a few expansion packs for it, so I'm very excited to get this one. And like I said, it is $1. You can get this pack at totallyfuckablealiens.com. Yes, that is the actual URL, and I love it. Cards Against Humanity as a company, in my opinion, has always been really great about how they sell their products and how they treat their workers. A couple years ago, they actually used the proceeds they got from a certain season of sales to send their workers on, to give them like $10,000 to send them on a really nice vacation for themselves. As a company, I have no problem supporting that kind of attitude and that kind of compassion and empathy that they show their workers. The fact that they're taking care of their workers, I think, is just a great job for them. So you should definitely support them. You should definitely, pay the dollar to get the expansion pack. It's $1. Even I had $1 to spend on this expansion pack. Finally, a list has been going around confirming and denying which heroes are going to be a part of Infinity War. When the Russo brothers were at Comic-Con a year ago, they said there was going to be something like 98 characters in Infinity War between the two movies. Right now, I don't think we're confirming anything for the second Infinity War movie, but for the first one, it looks like they're rounding out their number to around 67, 68 heroes. Most of the ones you can expect are going to be there. The ones that have been announced in movies, the ones that we've seen in movies, a lot of the main heroes and side characters that we've seen in the films, but so far there's likely to not be any TV representation, except there is a rumor that Clark Gregg did visit the Infinity set, so it's very possible that Coulson might actually have a cameo in Infinity War, and I can't think of a better reason for Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D. to rejoin the Marvel Universe. They're definitely still a part of the MCU. They're very underrepresented in the rest of this, in the grand scheme of things. But to have the Infinity War, a war that's probably going to affect all of the universe, all of the galaxy, all of Earth, it would be great to finally have S.H.I.E.L.D. step in as S.H.I.E.L.D. and act as S.H.I.E.L.D. in the MCU. And hopefully if Coulson has a cameo, that'll be the case. Because honestly, I don't think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. needs to cross over to the movies with Coulson or with May or with Quake, as awesome as that would be. Ultimately, I just think we need to get S.H.I.E.L.D. back into the MCU to have that support structure that they had in Phase 1, and parts of Phase 2. It's also not surprising that we're probably not going to see many of the Netflix heroes coming into the Infinity War, but we are hoping that the Infinity War will make its way into the Netflix series, as this will be a big war, probably causing a wave of cause and effect into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We might see some of the effects in future Netflix series, which would be really interesting. It'd be nice to see the Defenders defending New York from whatever armies Thanos sends after them. But at this point, that's all rumors and speculation. The heroes that are confirmed are the ones you've seen are pretty much all the ones you've seen in the films, and their side characters and sidekicks. Those were just a few of the geekly trends going on this week. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Follow me on all the internets and share the video so others can join in the conversation. And check out templeofgeek.com, your one-stop for all things geek. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and check out my Patreon so you can support more of my future content. Thanks for watching and have fun. So Captain America, Thor, Hulk.